Welcome back, everybody. How are you doing tonight? So this rather large box that takes up the entire screen here came in today. It is the new Challenger decks. That's right. I got a couple cases of the new Challenger decks in today, which I'm totally stoked about because these decks have way more value in cards in them than they sell for. So, hey, you can't beat that. And the cards actually dropped a lot in value that are in these decks because of the reprint of these decks. So, without further ado, let's break into one of these and see what's inside. Here, we'll probably start with my favorite one, which is, of course, Red Deck Wins. So here we go. So, to break open the box, we got... So these cases come with 2 of each. So we got 2 of the Final Adventures. If I can find the other one. There it is. 2 of the Allied Fires, which is the Fires of Invention one. We got 2 of the Simic Flash, or what they call Flash of Veracity, and then 2 of the Cavalcade Charge. So, I'm gonna open one of the Cavalcade Charge first, because that's my favorite of all these decks. Good old Red Deck Wins. And it usually does. I tried this in a couple weeks ago when they did the Friday Night Magic, and to where you could use one of these decks and play against the other decks, people using the other decks. So I use this one, of course, and I think out of 10 games, I only lost 2. And I think both of those were actually to the Simic Flash deck because of the control factor in here. So this is probably the second best deck out of these, with this one obviously being the breadwinner. So let's break in here, see what we got inside. I don't think there's anything other than cardboard in here. Oh, just cardboard. So we got a little divider. We got our little breakdown sheet. Wow. And when I say little, I mean little. It is teeny tiny. It's like, wow, not much to it. So basically you just scan that and go to their website if you want to know anything about the deck, because they don't include any information at all. So we got our 60 card main deck and then our 15 card sideboard. We'll go through the main deck first and then we'll do the sideboard. As you can see on top, we got Bone Crusher Giants right on top. And not one, but hey, we're supposed to have a few of them. There's supposed to be more in here. Anyways, so a Bone Crusher Giant. You threw me a curveball there, guys. Fervent Champion times 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the other Bone Crushers. Cheaters. So, 4 Fervent Champions, which are very valuable rares from Throne of Eldraine. Then you get 4 of them. And this deck needs 4 of these really to run. So that's awesome. And then you get 4 Bone Crusher Giants. Yet another valuable rare from Throne of Eldraine. A full playset. Then you get 4 Runaway Steamkins. Yet another valuable rare from Guilds of Ravnica that this deck really needs full play sets of in it to operate right. And then you get, again, a full play set of a very sought after, very costly rare from Throne of Eldraine, the Torbran, Threin of Redfell. This guy really kind of, once this guy hits the board, this deck is just beastly, because it's mainly all like little 1/1s and stuff until you throw out Torbran. Then those 1/1s are dealing an extra 2 every time they deal damage. So they technically become 3/1s at that point. And then we got Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. You get 3 of those, almost a playset. But again, another valuable card. Not terribly valuable, but still, it's a lot better than what they usually put in these type of decks. So Chandra is a good addition to this because she pops out the 2 1/1 tokens pretty much every turn with haste. And we'll get to the actual Cavalcade card that the deck's named after. This is the only like weak part of the deck, is that they did put an Embercleave in here, which is awesome because this is a super valuable, super sought after card. But they only put 1 in here, and really you want like a play set of these in the deck, or at least like 2 or 3, bare minimum. Because this thing really, I mean, you know, you can flash it in and attach it to a creature you control during combat, and it gives +1/+1 and double strike and trample. So that puts an end to a lot of shenanigans there. And then we got 3 Castle Embereths. Again, another valuable card that they put in more than just 1 of. And then we got Rimrock Knights, which are really handy in this deck because of the +2/+0 for 1 red, and then you get a 3/1 creature out of it on top of it. And then Scorch Spitter. He's just a common, but he is one of the staples of this deck because every time he attacks, he deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking just instantly. So even if he gets blocked, you still get a damage through. But a lot of times, he doesn't get blocked because he's just a little 1/1, but he does 2 every turn. So then we got our 10th Street Dodger. This is probably the card I would say you could take out if you wanted to upgrade the deck a little and put some more Embercleaves in or something. He is good. He's a 1-drop, 1/1 with haste. And for 1 red, he can't be blocked this turn except by walls, creatures with Defender. So he is a handy little guy, and he can sometimes do that final punch because you can make him unblockable as long as they don't have any defenders. But he is he's not as strong, I don't think, as some of the others in the deck. Cavalcade Calamity, this is what they named the deck after. And obviously there's a playset of these. Really cool card. What it says is, whenever a creature you control with power 1 or less attacks, Cavalcade Calamity deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. Basically turning every creature that's 1 power into a Scorch Spitter. And including the Scorch Spitter. So now when your Scorch Spitter attacks, he deals 1 instantly, and then this deals another 1 to that target. So now the Scorch Spitter is doing 2. You got 2 of these out, he's doing 3. 3 of them out, he's doing 4. 4 of them out, yeah, it's game over. So then we got Light Up the Stage. This is one I'm unsure about this one. I may not just be playing it right. I've seen people use this fairly effectively, but I just can't seem to get it to work right. This is for card draw, basically. It's got a spectacle cost of 1, otherwise it's ridiculously expensive. It's 3. But exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Basically, it just gives you a card advantage, 2 cards for the next turn. And if you deal damage to your opponent, even with a Scorch Spitter pinging them for 1, you can play it for that 1 red, and then you get 2 extra card draw. But I don't like the fact that they go away at the end of the next turn, but, you know, with a red deck, you can usually play a couple cards in a turn, so especially with this one, because there's not a lot of expensive stuff in there. So unless you accidentally draw 2 Torbrins at the same time, you'll probably be able to play everything that the 2 cards that you draw. And then we got a bunch of mountains, and then we got some tokens. We got Devil tokens. When this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target, and a satyr on the back. And then we got a adventure card, and then the 2 elemental tokens from Chandra with satyrs on the back. So there's your main deck. And then now we'll break into the sideboard here. If I can get this package open. All right. So our sideboard, we've got Experimental Frenzies in here. A little bit costly for this deck, but you may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play the top card of your library. You can't play cards from your hand, but you can pay its casting cost again to destroy it. I probably wouldn't put that in the sideboard because I wouldn't use that. There's 3 of them, and they are rares from Guilds of Ravnica. I mean, I see the point in it, but with this deck, most of the time by the 4th turn, you pretty much got it locked already. So this one's just not going to be fast enough to really help you with this deck. So I probably dump those. We got Satyr's Cunning. Create a 1/1 red satyr creature token with this creature can't block. And it does have escape, so you can recast it again. Exile 2 other cards and pay 3. It's alright, not bad. The Shocks, I would probably mainboard. I don't know why they're in the sideboard. You know, it's all about winning as fast as possible. Shock's going to help that extra couple damage on there. I'd probably put at least a couple on the main board somehow. Slaying Fire deals 3 damage to any target. If at least 3 red mana was spent to cast this spell, deals 4 damage instead. So it is a little bit costly. I'd probably go with the Shocks over this, but if you find yourself playing against a pretty big creature heavy deck, you may want to consider throwing these in there to get that 4 damage in. And then we got Tibalt. These are great sideboard cards for this deck if you're playing against mono white. In fact, I'd probably take out 2 of the Experimental Frenzies and put 2 more Tibalts in here, because for 3, your opponents can't gain life. And then he comes in with 5, and then you got the -2, create the 1/1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. So it does get you another 1/1 out there that can also deal damage when it dies. But the biggest thing is your opponents can't gain life. So this shuts down those Ajani decks, which is, the Ajani decks are huge right now. I'm kind of surprised one of these wasn't an Ajani deck. The life gain decks are just out of control right now. So Tibalt really shuts those down. So he's a great sideboard addition. Like I said, I'd probably add 2 more in the sideboard, because if you're playing an Ajani deck, you want to load up. You want to make sure you got one of those out as quick as you can get it out. Stop that life game before it gets out of control. But anyway, there you go. I'm utterly shocked at how many full play sets of very sought after, very valuable rares they put in these. I mean, 4 Fervent Champions, 4 Bone Crushers, 4 Steamkins, 4 Torbrins, 3 Chandras, an Embercleave, 3 Castle Embereths. I mean, look at that. That's insane. That's an insane amount of very valuable rares that they threw in this deck, full play sets of them. You know, I mean, I think they did a great job with these. I'm really quite impressed with them. There's very little tweaking needed. I mean, if you know somebody that's just getting started and you want them to be able to show up at a Friday Night Magic or even a standard tournament and actually have a chance at winning, this deck will do it right out of the box. I mean, there's a couple tweaks, like I said, when I was opening it, that I'd like to make to it to make it a little bit stronger. And I wish there's more Embercleaves in it. But for the $20 to $25 you pay for these decks, I mean, you can literally open this deck up and play it in a standard tournament. And if you know what you're doing, probably not do too bad at all. You might even do pretty good. So, like I said, I played it against the other 4 or the other 3 decks on and against itself in mirror matches, and I only lost 2 out of like 10 games that whole night. So that was on Arena, but still. These decks are built really well, and I can't believe the value that they crammed into them for the price that they are. So, pretty impressed by them. I think they did a great job with them. I think these are the best Challenger decks they've ever done, by far, hands down. And I really liked last year's Challenger decks. I've opened, I think, 3 of those on the channel. I haven't been able to get my hands on the other one yet, but I'll get it eventually and open it up probably. But stay tuned, because I'll open up the other 3 as well and post those over the next few nights here. And we'll get all these videos up. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you like these decks. And let me know your thoughts on them. Let me know if you think what you think we should tweak in here to make this a little more powerful right off the bat, even though it's already pretty good. But there is some tweaking that could be done to it to make it a little bit better. It seems like it's kind of trying to do 2 things. It's trying to do the mono red speed deck and the Cavalcade are they're kind of a little bit different, and it's trying to kind of combine the 2. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about it, and what you think should be tweaked on it, or what you would tweak on it if you have one, or if you're getting one, if you've gotten some. What do you think of them? Yeah, just leave me some comments about them, and check out some other videos while you're here. There's probably a couple of suggestions at the top corners, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye.